Test, test. Okay. What I'm going to do before I get up to the podium and talk to you, I want to stand amongst you, okay? And I want to tell you a little story here about very, very important to me, and then I'll show you a little bit about who I am and why I stand where I stand before you. So I was traveling up in Cortland, New York, and it was a big storm, okay? A big storm, and just so happened on that recruiting trip, my car broke down and I was in a ditch. And I remember bypassing a home about a mile back before I landed in that ditch in that snowstorm. So as you can see, I didn't have an overcoat back then because I thought I was cool. So I had to get out and walk back to that house to knock on the door for assistance. And when I knocked on this door, this gentleman showed up. He was about like 6'7", had overalls on. I said, "Excuse me, sir, can I use your phone? My car is stuck in the ditch." And he said to me, "No." I backed up because of the sound of his voice. And as I was walking down the step, he says, "Hold on, wait a minute. I think Dusty can help you out." I said, "Who's Dusty?" He said, "Dusty is this blind mule I have in the back." I had no choice. So we're walking back towards my vehicle with Dusty. So we get to my vehicle and he hitches Dusty up to the bumper of my car. And as he hooked Dusty up to the bumper of my car, he yelled out, "Sam!" Sam? I thought he said his name was Dusty. "Johnny!" Damn, I thought his name was Dusty. And I said, and all of a sudden he said, "Dusty!" He pulled my car out of that ditch. Man, I was so happy. But I'm like, "Sir, who was these other two people you talked about?" He said, "Son, Dusty was blind. And if he thought he had to pull your car out of that ditch by himself, your car would still be in that ditch." Okay? But the story is powerful because it's personal with me. See, I didn't talk when I was in 6th grade. And they put me in a special class. And you know what? My buddy and friend was blind. And we started playing games with each other. I tried to sneak in the room, but he knew I was in that space, even though he couldn't see me. He didn't know the color of my skin. He didn't see me, but he could feel me. Okay? And what I'm trying to say to you is just because you lose something, your senses and instincts will sometimes in life take over. So it took over. I talk about him every time I talk. And I've been talking for a while now. Hard to believe that. And so every time I go to an ATM machine or I see one, it reminds me of him. You know why? He taught me Braille. So look at the blessings in that. He wasn't able to see me, but he could feel that I was a good, decent human being. No different than you in this audience. To the person to the right and the person to the left. So I'm gonna give you a little snapshot about who I am. I've been at Amherst College for 33 years. I didn't know I was gonna be there that long because it was a challenge. As a youngster, grew up in Syracuse, New York, sports became the other arm that completed the hug that I needed. I was a pretty good athlete. But during the challenges that was happening in our country, I didn't want to go to a white college. I wanted to go to Tennessee State. I had an agent when I was in high school because they thought I was a good athlete. I played in the Final Four as a point guard. I played football and was drafted by the San Francisco 49ers. Played the majority of my career in the CFL. And a lot of the great quarterbacks who were denied opportunities are good friends of mine, like Doug Williams, first MVP of the Super Bowl, my first college interception. Condrus Holloway, my good friend, the first quarterback to play in the SEC. And you won't believe who he's recruited by, George Wallace, who said segregation now and segregation forever, but he wanted him to play football. Warren Moon, I can go on, the list is long. So while at Amherst College, I'm also a published author. I convinced Amherst College to send me to Spain to research Goya on kinetic energy, the flamingo dancer, the matador, and bullfighter as it related to Picasso and Hemingway. Because as a pro athlete, back then they call it hot yoga, now they do, but guess what? I took ballet because I hated stretching, so I wanted to elongate my career. But as you know, the NFL stands not for long. So I went up to Canada. Oh my gosh. Remember I told you I didn't talk? Montreal, je m'appelle Jean Clooney. Went to Spain, por favor, muchas gracias. Germany, CBDs. The brain is a powerful chip, but if you lose sight of who you are, you lose sight of reality. I'm at Amherst College, man, I love it. Because see, I know some of you will be matriculating to these type spaces. See, Fairfield Prep is not going to just drop you off. And it's our job as a higher education to make sure that when you come into these spaces, you come ready and knowing that you got a safety net where teachers care about who you are. See, people always say, all the students today. No, keep doing what you're doing. It's our job as teachers and educators to make sure we nudge you in the right direction. Okay? So that's just a little snapshot. And the last thing about humility precedes honor, and I'm a big believer in Special Olympics. Big believer in that. We had our NCAA national championship team in ice hockey. I went out and purchased 10 bikes, and I had the Special Olympic athletes and the college athletes take those bikes apart and put them back together again to give them out to the community. So outreach should be important in your lives. Outreach should be a little bit of makeup of who you are. And now I'm going to shift gears and stand at the podium and read to you. Because in that just brief moments, you got a chance to see who and know who I am because I was up close. And I like to use this talk. I was thinking about the title of the talk that I want to present to you. And I came up with, We Get To. Because the individual I's in your life can make the we great. Like the ocean, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. voice is the ripple effect of other voices that ring out loud to support his legacy. We get to celebrate his legacy across this country in the hopes of a better world. Dr. King was not only a great orator with an Olympic voice, he had vision, veracity. He was a strategist, a tactician organizer. He was willing to sacrifice his life to be about change. We get to come together to share our unspoken words just by you being here. I get to give you a concise look at my survival and blessing as a young man who learned to trust and love through those who helped fill my empty toolbox with nuggets of confidence, courage, faith, compassion, and the respect for my fellow citizens. But most importantly, I live to be shared as I live a meaningful and productive life. I grew up in Syracuse, New York. As a teenager, I lived on my own. I was 17. I got a job living and working with the elderly. I was captured by their shared vision, which helped me in my early years in high school to foster and nurture my growth with the love and the commitment my eyes witness on a daily basis. It gave me hope to strive for a better life. My blessings would have been cut short during my junior year in high school. I was stabbed in the back by a young man with a machete. He hit me an inch from my spine, barely passing major organs. I remember running almost 10 blocks. 1 block more would have ended my life. I was saved by a caring adult who had transferred me to the hospital. As the phrase goes, in a nick of time. Truly a blessing. Those blessings were often shared with my college teammate. At Tennessee State, we played basketball together, played in the Final Four. We were both scholarship kids on the basketball team. He was the funniest person I ever met. We were both 19 years old. One grew up in the North, the other in the South. Bernard Bailey always questioned the dangers I faced living in my own in the big cities. Compared to his small town, where everybody knew each other by name, we were both blessed to be graduated and live out our childhood dreams, playing professional sports. Bernard played on a basketball team in Europe, and I played professional football in Canada after being drafted by the San Francisco 49ers. We reconnected after our careers as professional athletes ended. Bernard found out that I was playing in a golf event in nearby Santee, South Carolina. He was a deacon in a local church where his father was a preacher. Bernard thought that I had decided to relocate and make my home in South Carolina. He drove over 40 miles after seeing B. McBride in the Yellow Pages and wanted to surprise me. To his disappointment, the couple who answered the door looked nothing like me. A polite white elderly couple assured him that he had the wrong address. Bernard just smiled, and said he was sorry to have bothered them, and went on his merry way. When we finally met months later, we laughed hard after he described to me what happened after that 40-mile trip. Bernard was my brother with a heart of gold. Big Blue was his nickname, standing 6'8". What happened next would have a profound effect on my life, as I'm thankful to be alive. A shared laughter ran deep with tears. He was shot by the chief of police in 2011. Bernard lost his life in his small hometown, trying to advocate for his daughter's unfair traffic ticket violation. The chief of police was indicted for murder that year. Bernard's family was compensated financially for their loss. Big Blue, are you listening? Dr. King, human progress is neither automatic nor inevitable. Every step towards the goal of justice requires sacrificing, suffering, and struggles. The tireless exertion and passionate concerns of dedicated individuals. Big Blue, are you listening? We get to reflect and open our minds and hearts to those sacrifices
that were made so that we can share in the hopes and dreams of a better country. Oftentimes, our blind spot hinders justice. Only when we can get to the truth, miracles can and do happen. We know Dr. King is a blessed man. However, let's not forget your blessings, my blessings, may include trials and problems that we never choose for ourselves. But growth usually comes in the heat of testing. Growth is not foremost a program or a curriculum, but nourishment and development of life. Our journeys, our stories of survival in our lives includes many battles. We must constantly choose between obedience and disobedience, darkness and light, narrow doors, open doors. We can't play it safe where we are refusing to advance. Share your heart, grab a hand, step forward to make this world a better place. We survive because of commitment. We anchor our voices not to be moved, to speak to the truth. And God knows Dr. King Jr. made that commitment, and so can you. Our past connections and our moments of yesterday that are present today. Scholars, Fairfield scholars, I offer these words of my great-grandfather who was interviewed at the ripe old age of 117. He talked to me about being a black man who didn't own himself. However, I stand before you as an extension of the man's triumphs in spite of unimaginable in this country. Be careful. Be good to people. No difference from the advice you share with those you love on a daily basis. Recharge your hearts. Share your gifts. We all have them. That's what my great-grandfather conveyed to me. Be vigilant. Be mindfulness of life. Your attitudes, your actions, I encourage us to live a thoughtful and effective life. Only be careful and witness. And watch ourselves closely so that we don't forget the things our eyes have seen and let them slip from our heart as long as you and I and we live. We climb mountains to enjoy the view left behind and navigate to the top. We also stand on the shoulders of giants past and present, including a diverse economic backgrounds, racial, gender identity, religious belief, and cultural differences. A diverse community is a vibrant community. Be kind. Kindness tugs at the heart. If you don't have to believe me. Just try it sometime. Finally, our character is informed by all the choices we make, whether good or ill, throughout our lives. Our character is never fully completed. It's a process. It is made and remade by the choices we face every day of our lives. Life is a mystery beyond our understanding. We make choices every day, and those choices are the playing fields for determining what kind of person we become. I leave you with the words of Martin Luther King. Don't allow anyone to make you feel that you are nobody. Always feel that you count. Always feel that you have worth. Always feel that your life is the ultimate significance. And Fairfield scholars, I believe in these things. I love the word love. love of learning, love of community, and without that, how can you not have love of self? Fairfield, I like you, and you can't do nothing about it. Thank you. So I gave, I always believe that when you go into a space, I got to take something back to Amherst. So I don't know who is willing amongst you to stand up and give me something so I can take back to Amherst so I can be a better advocate for who you are. And it's a popcorn. You just stand up and share out loud and speak from here. You don't need a microphone when you speak from here. Who's willing to do that? Who's willing to give me something to take back? I know you got all the youngsters in the back, so the adults are in the front, so you guys are transitioning. What are you leaving them? But what are you going to give me to take back? I love how you turn the head and look to the guy next to you. Can I be that teacher and say, you? There you go. Yeah, give it up for him. Woo! Yes. There you go. Belt it out. What are you going to give me something? Woo! And you know what's so powerful about that is that at Amherst College, my door is never closed. And they always tease me. They said, Mr. McBride, why are you always happy? I said, because I'm not going to hide it. And I have a sign that says, if you don't have 5, don't stop for McBride. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about your family, how you're doing academically. I wanted to get to know you. I gave you a little bit about me, but I got to take something back, people. It's a mutual exchange. Love and understanding, being self-aware. Because I'm going to tell you what lack of understanding can be. When I played pro football, there was a young lady, 12 years old. She said, Billy, you seem to be so nice. So how come God made you brown then? Ooh. Because he loved me, and that will suffice. However, that's called perception with pure innocence. Now I'm going to give you perception. I like sports cars. I used to go to a certain car wash every day in the summer because I wanted it clean. So a guy comes out. He said, sir, I noticed you come to my car wash all the time. I got a question for you. I said, yes. He said, are you a drug dealer pimp from Seattle? I said, no. So one of his coworkers goes, hey, go back to your office. So he goes back to his office, and there's my team photo with my autograph on top of my picture. He said, sir, I apologize. Just give me an autograph for my son, and you have free car washes for the rest of the summer. It's called perception. Because when you walk around in life, people don't see Fairfield Prep, they see you. They don't see a label, they see a human being. Humility precedes honor, and you need it. You can't leave this place without leaving something behind. Give. Don't have a fixed mindset. Have a growth mindset. You remember I said the eyes. Make the individual eyes in your life become the we. Reflection, projection. It's important. It's important. Wherever you go to school, seniors, the first thing you need to do in your free time is go to the archives. Know where you are. I'm quite sure every parent who comes into this institution have an idea where they're sending their sons. Because remember, young men, I like to say this because it tugs at my heart. We shared the same heartbeat with our mothers for 9 months. And our birthday was our first cry. How do you lose that? You got to build on that. So again, I thank you for your time. If you have any questions, don't feel free to come up and talk to me. I promise I'll give you a chance to say a word or two. So again, thank you.
Good morning, Prep. Happy Martin Luther King Celebration Day. I just want to offer my word of gratitude to Billy. You've inspired us today. You've shared with us your great heart, your love of justice, your love of humanity, and you've challenged us. You know, we call it a brotherhood here at Fairfield Prep, a brotherhood for others, and I think you've deepened our sense of what it means to be for others in the spirit of Dr. King, in the spirit of our brother Ignatius and our brother Jesus. And we know you run back up to that little school up in Massachusetts, Amherst, which is not a Jesuit school, but I think we send you back an Ignatian brother. And so we want you to remember Fairfield Prep with a little something to say thank you today. Thank you. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you.